careful. Like I said, if you want to walk close to the van, that's great.
It's as high as I can reach.
Okay, you hold what you got.
I got it.
I'm stepping.
Yep, you step. I got it.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm giving it to you. I'm leaving.
All right.
I
gotta get off anyway. Come this way.
I'll just pull it to you.
Okay, okay. All right, so come this way. Yeah, watch your. Get your. Okay, good. Gotta scoot it to you. And guess what? This is just a follow-up on the covers I made for my solar panels. I made these covers back in the wintertime. Made them, of course, just in case, like if my campsite is just fully covered in trees, no sun, much, can't use the solar panels much, then these would be protective covers, falling branches, stuff like that, hailstorms, whatever, ways to protect the solar panels from damage. When I made them, I used, I guess it's the polystyrene or some kind of cell type foam padding that came with the packaging of the panels. I thought, this is great, they're the right size. I'll just put them inside this tarp, fold the tarp in half in 2 sections. And if you remember, there's an earlier picture I used when I put the covers on. It was totally perfectly flat. Well, I was not thinking that when these things sit out in the sun bakes it, then that polystyrene foam cell stuff padding inside the tarp cooks. It cooks in the sun and it curves up like a bowl. So let's see if you can tell. Yeah, see, this was lying perfectly flat. Now it's making like a big bowl, which collects water, rainwater, which adds weight to the surface of the solar panels. Kind of defeats the purpose. Guess what I'll do is I'll just, there's the lower layer, there's the upper layer. I'll have to, what I'm going to have to do is just, when it comes time to take them off and use the solar panels, then I'll sweep off the covers. When I put them back on the panels, I'll have to put them on the reverse side so that they're curved up like an inverted bowl to shed the water. And then when they get baked in the sun, I guess they'll melt some more and curve in the other direction. Or not, we'll see. But anyway, so that's going to be an ongoing experiment of learning as I go. So anyway, and then when I use them as an awning shelter, of course, I'll flip them so that the curved side is up. So we'll see. It's just one of those things. Another one of those things. I'm not making a full-length video of all the wiring I've been doing so far, but just to summarize, I am in the process of wiring the solar panels. I'm having 2 panels in series. There's 2 sets of 2 panels, which means 2 sets of 2, there's 2 series. Those 2 series will be wired in parallel then down to my junction box, which then goes into the van. Having to make our own connections using the gender named male-female inserts, which go into their opposite male and female connectors, and etc. Here at the junction box, of course, I've already got my floodlight spotlights coming in the junction box that way. This is the cabling for the Wi-Fi cellular antenna, and here's the PV solar array cables. So they're going to be connected down here underneath this little deck shelf. This is the I've got white tape for positive. So these are 2 lines coming down to one. The one going into the junction box. That's my positive line coming in, negative line over there. And it's already run down to the van, to the, it's basically a circuit breaker, but they call it a cutoff switch, which is required by regulation, have a PV cutoff switch. All right, so what you do with each connection, you strip the wires and you put on these connectors and go from there. So. This was named the female insert that goes inside the male connector. Just put this on the wire. it should look something like that. It's a little bent, but anyway, so you crimp that on, and then this should fit. This should fit the male connector. Here's the male connector. Just take it apart. Little click. Put this pressure collar up in there. It's got to go inside of there. Okay. So we got the pressure collar up in there. Then you got the screw-on cap to apply the pressure. And I usually end up just using 2 pliers to do make sure it just gently screw it all the way to the point where there's no gap at all in here for waterproofing purposes. I'm usually too sweaty to do it by hand. So anyway, so that's the basics of how you make these connectors. Same for the opposite connectors. Just make whichever one you need to go into the opposite end of the other, and you go from there.